Hey my YouTube family, welcome back to another episode of Selfish Therapy. Guys, how was your week? I had a great week. I had a really good week. Let me say that rather than I start ranting. If this is your first time, welcome aboard. My name is Lyrae. On this channel, we talk about any and everything self-therapy. So if you guys are not ready to do the work, this may not be the channel for you. Okay? Don't forget, for my returning viewers, you support me by subscribing to my channel, turning on your post notification bell, so whenever I post new content, you guys are notified first. Alright, and if you like my video, don't forget, leave me a thumbs up, leave a comment below. Let me hear what your thoughts are on the topic for this week, or what you'd like to hear me talk about. So with that said, guys, let's jump into the video. So my loves, on this episode, I wanted to talk about some of the stereotypes surrounding the way how men express their emotions versus how women express their emotions, and how that could be deemed in a negative light. So the topic today is men are just as emotional as women. And I wanted to ask you guys, do you agree? And if you do, well, whether you do or not, please drop a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on the topic. I would love to hear it. So I'm just going to jump right into it. So the common stereotype is that women that express their emotions are considered, it's usually deemed, has a negative connotation with it, or they're deemed as irrational. But men don't get the same, even if it's the same expressions. Even if they're showing their emotions with the same expressions, when a man does it, it's completely, it's more acceptable to society versus when women do it. And I know that some of that is coming from, back in the days when it was almost like men are not allowed to show emotions, that you're considered weak, all of that stuff, and it was more acceptable for women to show it. But fast forward to now, and how the narrative around that is almost like when women show their emotions, it's considered negative, they're irrational, but when men does it, it's considered passionate, right? So we tend to hide behind the women are emotional creatures. So there's a side to it where if a woman expresses herself, and I'm talking about in a positive way, right? If a woman expresses herself, her emotions a certain kind of way, it's like, oh, she's a woman. If a man expresses himself, oh, he's acting like a woman, right? In certain aspects. And then the other aspect to that is, a man will not show certain emotions because it is not accepted to society, or they're being judged. And this goes into workplaces. This is unbalanced. So why, right? Why is it not okay for anybody to express themselves? As humans, that's what we do. Why is it that it's so unbalanced, and how it's accepted? Why is there a stigma around it, and how can we change that? All right. So if you see me looking down, guys, I'm just looking at my notes. All right. So one of the things I found out when I was researching this topic is, back in the 19th centuries, my understanding is that it was actually a thing where women were literally labeled as unstable or irrational because they had a uterus. Because what they're saying is that because you have a uterus, these emotions, your hormones fluctuate, creating instability, and you are practically, you can't be trusted with certain things because, we never know when your emotion is going to get the better of you. Basically what they're saying. So certain things that they were doing, they would exclude women out of it, and because they felt like they'll have a better chance or more positive impact when men do it versus women. So they would be excluded. Nobody took the time to do the research just to see what causes these fluctuations, or how to find a better way of being inclusive. They just decided, I'm gonna exclude it. So that's kind of what it is. So I'm gonna read something for you guys, and this is called hysteria. So and today I feel like just because the name is not the same or it's not used as much, or to my opinion, just to my knowledge, I feel like it's still here today. It's still, while we have a lot of it plays some role in why we have inequality in the workplaces, in certain, with certain positions. I still feel like those things that impact our emotions as women, because our body naturally experience these things, and it does affect our hormones, triggering certain emotions. Those things are almost, they still look at us as if something is wrong with us today, right? All right, so I'm going to share this article with you guys. It's a snippet of an article that when I was doing my research, I came across it, right? So it says, back in the 20th century, women were largely excluded from research, even research that impact women mostly, right? It says, according to the study authors, this was partly due to the assumption that ovarian hormone fluctuations lead to variation, especially in emotion, that could not be experimentally controlled. So like I was telling you, the things that naturally happen to us as women, to our bodies, that impact our hormones and thus our emotions, it's almost like we did something wrong, right? Anyways, moving on, it says those hormonal women were just too unpredictable. Those women were too unpredictable to be studied. So instead of using science to find out if these assumptions about emotions and female hormones were true, researchers simply ignored women and studied men instead. Look at that. Look at that. Right? So that goes to show you we're still dealing with that today. Still dealing with that today. So already, stereotypical thought process about how men express their emotions versus how women do is already at a disadvantage for us. Just like that, right? These are things that happen to our bodies naturally. It's not something that we can control. It's not accepted, and because it's deemed as negative, what we do is we try to find ways to suppress that. So whatever it is that we can do, we suppress those emotions because society doesn't accept it. And this is what we were naturally made to do. Our bodies naturally do this. Now, do I really believe, outside of the natural things that happen to our body, like our cycle, pregnancy, etc., those things, do I believe that maybe certain things that we ingest, like certain things that we eat, those have some kind of impact on how we operate naturally, hence also impact our emotions? Certain things that we intake could also impact our hormones, which in turn triggers our emotions, right? Now, I also feel that there are negative ways of expressing your emotions, as I mentioned before, and now that may be what we need to figure out, a better way of channeling those emotions but not suppress them. And I hope I'm making sense. So that's what I'm trying to express. All right. So as you can see, with those biases, we are already at a disadvantage just by what we naturally go through, and hence we are excluded out of a lot of things, or just constantly being judged for that. Don't get me wrong, this is not everyone, and I feel like we are doing a little bit better in creating that space, but we're not there yet. There's still a lot of work left to be done, especially in our community, to create a better space for for us to feel safe. Not just women, but men, but I'll talk about that as well. So I'm gonna give you guys an example that you can look at. For instance, if a woman, let's say we like shoes. I'm just gonna go to the simplest thing. We like shoes. Something happens. The dog chewed on our favorite shoe, right? Triggers our emotions. We might get upset, shout at the dog. We might cry, and feel some type of way about it for a minute because, oh my God, I love that shoe. A man will look at a woman and be like, all right, it's not that serious. Why calm down, relax. These are the words that they use that, I don't know about you guys, it triggers me even more. Don't tell me to relax. Don't tell me to calm down. Let me express myself, because it's not like I'm raging, right? So let's not go there. But anyway, that's what the normal person, not even just men, to be honest with you, people, because especially in corporate world, oh my gosh, they will look at you like something is wrong with you, almost like you're crazy. If a man does it where, let's say his best player on his football team made a stupid play according to their standards, oh, they're gonna shout, they're gonna kick up. If they lose their team, they probably get upset, not talk to anybody, probably cry, do the same thing, right? You know what society would say? He's just passionate about his first game. So why wasn't it that the woman was passionate about her shoe? What if that's her thing? Why is it that she needs to calm down and relax, but it's like, man, it's gonna be all right, don't worry yourself, you know what I mean? Next time. I understand you, but that's what happens in society. We don't pay attention, but it becomes natural for us to do it. So it's almost like it's twofold. One side is like, if a man shows a little bit of emotion, depending on who it is, it's like it's accepted. If a woman shows the same emotions, even if she was provoked, she needs to calm down. Then you have the other side that if it's not acceptable for a man to show any type of emotions, because men don't do that. Well, let me not say any type of emotions. It's okay for him to be angry, but if he cries, it's a problem. If he pouts and gets sad, it's a problem. A woman shows anger, oh, how dare you? It's not ladylike. I think, and I will say this too, one of the biggest things that I realize some men really struggle with is rejection. And it's so funny because I would say, maybe this is a stereotypical way of thinking as well, that men get more rejection than women. I don't know if that's the case. I think it's just more of women are more upfront to say, I guess, are more straightforward to tell a man, because a lot of times men, their rejection is they might just disappear or tell you a lie, or that's not all men, don't get me wrong guys, that's not all men. They'll tell you a lie, oh yeah, you're nice man, I like you, and then they just don't call or text, right? When a woman would tell you upfront, like, no, I'm not interested, no, you're not getting my number. So do I feel like they might get rejection more, like regular, on the norm, only because they approach women more? I'm assuming. I don't know. I'm assuming they approach women more. But I find that I would want to think that when it does happen, I feel like women handle it a little bit better. I think, I don't know. Don't come for me, but it almost seems like women handle it better. Let me tell you why. I've seen so many different, and I'm talking about from experience and just things that's just being on the front line scene, where I'm seeing men doing some spiteful things. When they get their feelings hurt, they're very spiteful. This is just to say that's a form of how men express their emotions negatively. They could be very spiteful. They will literally go out the way to do something to try and embarrass you or hurt you back. Well, recently I saw a post on social media and I was just looking at it, and it just seemed to be very disrespectful. And you could tell a lot about a person by what they post, right? And I don't respect it at all. I don't respect men that feel like the need to go on social media and talk about women. I don't respect it for women either. So it's not that I'm trying to be one-sided, but there's something just to me that's a turn off, that's disgusting about it. There's a difference when you are bringing awareness to something and there's a way how to talk about it without trying to talk negative of that person. And you learn a lot about men when you have certain conversations, you see what they post and what comes out of their mouth, and what's in their mind about people in general. Let me say that. But it was very distasteful, and I would never date somebody like that. If I see you go on social, you get one time to throw a sub at me on social media, because that tells me that you need a better way of channeling your emotion. There's nothing wrong with you expressing your emotion, but that's not the way to go about it. I was never a fan of going on social media to express. And don't get me wrong, when I was younger, I've done it. But as I got older, I really learned that that's just not the way to go. It's not everything that needs to be on social media. I think social media is a great thing, don't get me wrong, if used properly. But I don't know, it's just, when I see men go on social media and talk about women a certain kind of way, especially women that they used to be with or friends, or you know what I mean, men just don't deal with rejection very well. And when they get rejected, they talk a lot of crap. They do. They talk a lot of crap. So don't act like it's just women, guys. Don't do it, because it's not true. Just saying. Man enough to tap it. Put down type the phone. Let's say a prayer or something. But don't go up on social media. It's not cute. It's not cute. Anyways, again, guys, my aim here tonight on this episode is really for us to change the way we think, or the way how we look at people that express their emotions. It's not necessarily a man thing or a woman thing, and it should not be deemed as such. As a people, we will do a better job of looking at people that choose to express their emotions in a more positive manner rather than negatively. And we just need to remember that we need to create that space to allow people, because it's a human thing. It's not, like I said, it's not man or woman. It's a human thing. We were naturally created to have these emotions, and expressing them positively should not be deemed as negative, right? And we should create a better space for not only our friends and families, but also our children. We need to teach them to learn how to express themselves. It's okay to express yourself. Teach them the proper channels, and what you do when you feel those emotions is what makes the difference. What you say, how you approach people, your tone, it does matter. And it matter not because having that tone is wrong. It's that your intention is not to hurt the other person or the other people involved, but rather to express yourself so they can understand that you matter, what you feel, so that they understand to do better or to change whatever is triggering that emotion. And I hope that made sense. All right. I do want to say kudos to the men that are doing a lot better, that created that space, making it okay for their counterparts to express how they truly feel without judgment. Expressing whatever that emotion is and create that support for them. I want to say kudos to those men, because there are men out there who do that for women. And also to the men that feel comfortable, because women also have to create that space for their men to express themselves. They're not considered weak, right? They're not. I feel like it's healthy for men to express themselves, and women also need to make sure that that space is created for them to do so without judgment, right? So kudos to you guys, to the people that are supportive of it. And when it's not expressed in a positive way, or where the impact is not positive, then we work together on learning how to channel that or expressing that through a positive channel. That makes sense. All right. So do I have anything else? So for those men that may not be as open or may think about it in a negative way, I just want to say to you, we are not irrational or unstable. We are just as passionate about the things that we care about, just like you are. Okay? So look at it from that point, and I think that will start that open dialogue for you to better understand. And everybody's different, I get it. However, we need to feel comfortable to express how we feel, when we feel it, how we choose to, without feeling judged or feeling that you guys are telling us we need to suppress how we feel, right? Likewise, women are not weak when they express themselves. They are passionate and rational as we are. All right. So with that said, so the next time you guys feel like judging somebody for expressing their emotions, whichever way they choose, just remember it's normal. It is normal, and we can educate ourselves on the things that may impact women differently than men, and just learn how we can support each other with that. And I hope that made some sense today. I hope I didn't just rant on. I'm going to go ahead and close this episode out. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope that you learned something. Do not forget to leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about it. Like I said, I'm here to learn as you. I'm open to hear your thoughts, and I feel like it's a great way to open a dialogue surrounding expressing emotions, a great way for us to teach our children, and talk about the beautiful channels that we have. Now, I wanted to say this before I close out, guys. I know my last video, I should have a part 2 on that. That should be coming to you next week. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this this week. So leave a comment. Do not forget to subscribe. Turn on your post notification bell so whenever I post new episodes, you guys are notified. And share the video, guys. I'd appreciate your support in every way and your interactions. So thank you, guys, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye for now. Happy Saturday.